Character changes in the WWE are a key ingredient for keeping characters fresh and current. Character changes could bring a new lease of life to a beloved character and offer fans something new and exciting. Whilst the character change should be unique, it should be grounded in kayfabe reality and should have some sense of logic and reasoning and always align with the established continuity of that specific character. Unfortunately, over the years, WWE have been prone to delivering a character change which simply makes no sense whatsoever. This character change does more damage than good and ultimately makes fans question what on earth WWE were thinking. Join us now as Wrestlelamia looks at 10 WWE character changes that made zero sense. Be sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell for daily wrestling videos and follow us on Facebook for exclusive lists. Also check out Wrestlelamia.co.uk and our non-wrestling channel, Incredible. Number 10. Big Time Bex. Becky Lynch made her grand return to WWE at the SummerSlam pay-per-view in 2021. Lynch would return following a 15-month hiatus and would squash ultra-popular babyface of Bianca Belair to win the Raw Women's title. What followed was a misplaced and misguided heel turn of one of WWE's most popular stars. Lynch would turn heel immediately after her SummerSlam return and begin to berate the fans. This personality change made no sense though, as before Lynch departed WWE the year prior, she had a genuine connection with the fans, and there wasn't a logical reason why Lynch suddenly hated the audience. The character change received criticism from fans, but also Triple H, as Lynch would reveal that the game questioned why one of WWE's most universally beloved stars was now a villain. It simply defied all rationale. Number 9. Piper Niven becomes Dewdrop. During Vince McMahon's final few years running WWE, he seemingly became obsessed with changing everyone's name. Whether this was shortening names or completely erasing the old characters' names, McMahon seemed to believe that a name change was the key to a character getting over on the main roster. But one of the more infamous of these name changes was when Vince McMahon renamed Piper Niven. Niven would now turn into Dewdrop, which was simply an awful name, and it was really hard to recover from. The name change would also be explained in a segment on Raw where Dewdrop would debut as Eva Marie's protege. Dewdrop would be about to introduce herself as Piper Niven before Marie cut her off and revealed her name to be Dewdrop. In her debut match, the Raw announce team had to pretend that they had no idea who she was, and McMahon decided to completely erase her prior work in NXT UK. This was a huge disappointment, as it would have made logical sense to simply introduce Piper Niven in the role and bring up her NXT UK success. To make things worse, when Dewdrop eventually left the side of Marie, Dewdrop decided to keep the infamous name, which was a character decision that was completely baffling. Number 8. Rikishi turns into a bad man. One of the most nonsensical storylines of the Attitude Era was a Who Ran Over Stone Cold Steve Austin angle that started at Survivor Series 99. When this angle first went down, WWE creative had no idea who was going to be revealed as the one behind the attack, but when Austin returned in 2000, WWE had to think of someone relatively quickly. They eventually came up with the idea of having Rikishi be the one driving the car who ran down Austin, and Triple H would be the mastermind behind the entire thing. Rikishi would explain that he did it for The Rock, in order to help The Rock reach superstardom in WWE. This reveal was poorly executed, and fans still continue to criticize WWE's decision to name Rikishi as the one who ran over the Texas rattlesnake. Following the big reveal, Rikishi would completely alter his persona and he would turn into a menacing heel. This character change flopped and fans hated it. It didn't take too long for WWE to completely scrap the heel character, and before fans knew it, Rikishi was back to his lovable, colourful, dancing babyface persona. Number 7. Brie Bella's subjective memory. The storyline between the Bella twins in 2014 was universally panned by fans. It centered on Nikki Bella turning on her sister Brie, and this would escalate when Nikki won a match against Brie, forcing her to become a personal assistant for 30 days. Nikki put Brie through hell during the feud, and the storyline officially lost fans at the Survivor Series pay-per-view. Brie would help Nikki win the Divas title from AJ Lee at the event, and following the pay-per-view, the Bella twins would be back together again, with the two showing no animosity whatsoever. Brie had seemingly forgotten that her own sister had put her through severe torment, and she had previously sworn revenge on her. It was WWE character development at its very worst and completely killed any ounce of credibility Brie had left as a compelling character on the show. Number 6. Triple H and Ric Flair are best friends again? The 2005 feud between Triple H and Ric Flair is a vastly underrated feud that delivered a fantastic storyline between two icons of the WWE. The rivalry was a pure blood feud, and when the feud came to a close, there was simply no way WWE would ever go back to the former Evolution stablemates being friends. However, when Triple H turned babyface in 2006 and reformed DX alongside Shawn Michaels, it was presented as if the Game and Flair were once again best friends. Triple H would come to the aid of Flair during his battles with Edge and Randy Orton, and it was never remotely mentioned that less than a year prior, these two men were literally trying to end each other's careers. Whilst this wasn't a full-blown character change from both men, it certainly damaged the established lore of their respective characters. Number 5, Randy Orton suddenly loves the fans. Randy Orton's babyface turn in 2004 was poorly planned and ultimately poorly executed. Upon winning the world title at the SummerSlam event, Orton was unceremoniously kicked out of the Evolution stable. Orton had been one of the most calculated, villainous heels on the roster, and now he was suddenly a babyface. He would begin to cut babyface, fan-friendly promos where he mocked Evolution and tried to suck up to the fans. It made no sense that just because Orton was kicked out of the faction, that he suddenly had good guy tendencies and wanted the support of fans. This was one of the main reasons that Orton's babyface push in 2004 completely failed, and WWE would make the executive decision to turn him back into a heel just a few short months later. Number 4, Edge forms the Judgment Day. When Edge came out of retirement in 2020, Edge instantly became one of the most popular stars on the roster. However, 2 years after his return, WWE made the bizarre decision to turn one of their biggest babyface stars into a heel. On the road to WrestleMania 38, Edge would issue an open challenge for WrestleMania, and when this was accepted by AJ Styles, Edge would viciously attack the former champion. Edge would debut a new persona which had gothic and supernatural undertones, and he would ridicule the fans despite them showing him nothing but support upon his 2020 return. Edge's character would undergo further evolution when he started the Judgment Day stable. This would consist of Rhea Ripley and Damian Priest. The stable promised to banish any wrestler who didn't fit in their mountain of omnipotence. Unfortunately, the character change for Edge didn't work, as fans had no desire to boo Edge at this stage of his career, and WWE would make the sensible decision to turn Edge back into a babyface in the summer of 2022. Number 3, Finn Balor becomes the leader of the Judgment Day. Speaking of the Judgment Day, following the Hell in a Cell event in June 2022, WWE would go in a different direction with the stable. The stable would come out for a promo on Raw and introduce their newest member, Finn Balor. Balor, Rhea Ripley and Damian Priest would then kick Edge out of the group, making Balor the new leader. There was a major issue with this development, as the stable had been making Balor's life hell, and Balor and Priest had been in a violent feud. Why Balor was willing to put bad blood behind him in order to join a stable of people he disliked was never actually explained. Albeit nonsensical, Balor as the leader arguably worked better though, as Balor, Ripley, Priest and later Dominic Mysterio certainly had more chemistry as a collective unit. Number 2, the Demon goes corporate. A WWE Hall of Famer, Kane has undergone some unique character changes throughout his tenure as the Devil's favorite demon. However, in 2013, the Kane character completely took a nosedive as Kane became corporate Kane. Kane would hand his mask to Stephanie McMahon on an episode of Raw and in the process join the Authority. He would appear in a suit and tie and wrestle in suit pants and slacks. It was truly awful, and it was no surprise that most fans labelled this as the worst incarnation of Kane's character. It was never explained why it was happening or why Kane suddenly wasn't demonic and was basically a normal human being. Kane would eventually revert to his prior persona with the iconic mask down the line, but unfortunately the mystique was heavily damaged with the corporate stooge character. And number 1, Stone Cold sells his soul to the devil himself. Stone Cold Steve Austin and Vince McMahon's feud defined the Attitude Era. That's why it was so unbelievably shocking when the two joined forces at WrestleMania 17. McMahon would assist Austin in defeating The Rock to win the WWE title. It was presented on screen that Austin had sold his soul in order to win the WWE's top prize. Austin subsequently turned heel, and some fans cite this as the end of the Attitude Era and a downward trajectory of the creative output from WWE. The common complaint surrounding this character change from Austin was that it was unnecessary and failed to make logical sense. McMahon was Austin's mortal enemy and would never under any circumstances join forces with him. Additionally, the kayfabe reasoning of Austin needing help to defeat a man he's defeated numerous times failed to justify the character shift. Austin would discuss the heel turn on his podcast, and he revealed that he regrets the character change and wishes it never transpired. But there you have it folks, 10 WWE character changes that made zero sense. Be sure to leave your comments down below, and I'll see you next time with some more wrestling content.